This is a weird one, which is why we're doing it. I always thought they called it homework for a reason. You go home and you do some work. Chicago elementary school is now doing away with homework so kids can spend more time with their families. This is actually teaching kids then a lesson in laziness. Or is it? Erica Katz says this teaches kids a horrible lesson. Liz Stern really disagrees, says all elementary schools should ban homework. Why? Why?
All right, so this is my take on it. I think that all schools should get rid of homework. The reason that I feel that way is because I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I know how hard they are working during the day at school. That when they come home at the end of the day. How do you know that? Because I know. I see their report cards, I speak to their teachers, and I know that all, not just my children, all the kids are working really hard.
They might be all part of the same cabal. We're busy,
they're not partying in school anymore. They're not really, it's not even enough recess for these kids. Bottom line is I think that they're in school all day, very rigid curriculum. They're learning for these tests. They come home, and children need to be children, and they need to unwind.
Right, then and this goes up to the 2nd grade,
yes,
right?
It does. Right.
But they're considering pushing up to the 5th grade and all. So what's wrong with up to the 2nd grade? What are they going to miss? Finger painting?
I think that children need to learn to work independently, and homework is a really great way to do that. I also think that...
You don't think they're getting too much homework these days?
It's really not that much homework, kindergarten through 2nd grade.
You should see what my 2nd grader is bringing home, an hour's worth of homework.
But that's great that they're bringing home homework, because that means you can spend family time with them actually helping.
Well, the rest of the world must be spending family time. In South Korea, they keep their little asses in there 12 hours a day and another... whatever, hours of homework.
I see with these kids, I think that, again, by the time they come home, they're shot, they're exhausted, and the last thing that they want to do is do their homework. And I hear this, but that's what
so what's the alternative? What are they going to do instead? What are they going to do instead?
Let's let me have activities. I do after-school activities with the kids. I let them play.
What my child want to do.
Not even the being outside, running around, sports activities. If it's painting, whatever it may be. I think it's important for children, again, to have that outlet after school and not have to feel forced to go do that homework.
But here's what we're talking about. If it's up to what kids want to do, then they'll be eating candy for breakfast, they won't go to bed, they won't have homework, and maybe they could just do nothing for the rest of their lives. I am so sick of hearing these hippie parents talking about what their kids want to do and this child-centered...
So you don't buy that it will be a quality of life issue that will improve their disposition, their performance at school?
Neil, I can tell you...
Absolutely not. Because we're in a competitive world, and those kids need to learn to do
homework. Yeah, you go to that one, young lady.
Yes,
the Chinese aren't slowing up, the Russians aren't slowing up, the South Koreans aren't slowing up.
I speak to these parents.
You've let down your arms.
And I just know from firsthand experience that when these kids come home, the last thing that they need to do is do hours and hours worth of homework.
Your kids have got you fooled into thinking they're actually doing something at school.
I believe in a traditional education. I actually had my children in a progressive school, and I got them out of there into a traditional school where there's homework and desks and people aren't
lying on. How much homework are they doing? How old are they, if you don't mind me?
Okay, so my 11-year-old daughter gets about an hour's worth of homework, and it's getting a little more as she's in 6th grade. Okay. And she actually likes to do it because she feels like a big girl, very independent. She's working on her own. Now, my son, who doesn't like to do homework, I'm sorry if he's watching, but he does not like to do homework, it actually teaches him to work independently, and now
or
he's getting
make school more of a chore.
Or what about going back to what you're saying? What about a happy medium? What about finding a happy medium? What about having these kids come home from school doing something that they want to do, or unleash that, like that angst that they've had all day, bottled up while they're in school, and then perhaps giving them a little bit of homework, but not hours and hours worth of homework that they've been giving them.
But you know what?
You want to surrender a world leadership as a result.
Listen, I'm not
like homework.
that.
Do you know why homework is good, Neil? Because that way, when they come home, I can actually see what they're doing in school and see if they learned it. And if they didn't, then I can go over it with them.
And what about a lot of these parents, though, that can't be home with their children doing their homework, and the kids are let to just, no one even knows what's going on because the parents are.
A lot of parents won't be like you.
Listen.
So wait, we should abolish all homework because there are some parents who don't want to help their kids with their homework. That's ridiculous.
I'm not saying don't want to. They don't have that luxury of doing their homework.
In a private school where they can finger paint till they're in 12th grade.
My kids are in public school, and I'm a huge advocate of the public school.
Well, all I know is my littlest guy has plenty of time to get homework done at school when he's on detention, so he can just...
But the public school has to give homework to kids. If you don't like it, put them in a more progressive, different kind of school.
I'm not
you don't want to surrender America, but she's perfectly happy.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the homework should be taken a little step back.
Look,
I want my children to work.
Yeah.
And I really don't feel bad about it.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I do. I see the kids at the end of the day. They are tired.
Yeah, I can just hear the kids.
Tired.
Now.
Everybody's
Yet
tired.
another reason.